Hello, everyone. Aromatherapy, I absolutely love. Well, we are going to talk about how aromatherapy can help us with hormone and immune health. To talk about this, we have Adora. Adora is a plant and vibrational medicine expert as well as an aromatherapist. I am so delighted to introduce all of you to Adora. Thank you so much for coming and being with us today.
It is such my pleasure, Almita. Delightful to be here with you and your community.
Thank you. So let's just start with, it's such a huge topic of hormone and immune health. We'll try to cover as much as we can in the next 10-15 minutes. So I'll let you start.
Great. So I'd like to just start with an overarching, not only intention, but a glimpse, right? Because there is so much curiosity, there's so much interest on essential oils and aromatherapy. And there's also a lot of confusion, misrepresentation. And so the first thing that I'd like to start by saying is that essential oils are what we use in aromatherapy, right? Aromatherapy is the art and science of using essential oils that are produced, distilled from aromatic plants to address some layer of our existence, right? Something from a physiological perspective, mental, emotional, as well as spiritual. So it is truly a holistic medicine. And essential oils are the most potent form of plant medicine. So with that said, where do they come from, right? So we've heard about lavender. Lavender is very commonly spoken about. You can go to pretty much any grocery store and find a product that says it's made with pure lavender oil. The lavender is produced from the flowers of the plant, and about 150 pounds of lavender flowers make 1 pound of the essential oil, approximately. And within each drop of that oil, the entire plant's quintessence and life force is held, as well as the biochemical activity, right? And some of the main constituents from a chemical perspective within lavender are linalool and linalool acetate. And those two chemical components lend the effect as lavender as we know it, right? Calming, relaxing. They lend that nervine effect, right? Calming and balancing to the nervous system. And so when we think about plants from an overarching perspective, they are a wonderful tool to work as an adaptogen, right? To help us balance from the many, many layers and levels of stress from an exterior environmental as well as an internal perspective that we are challenged with day to day. So, so just as an idea of kind of the magnitude of this relationship in conjunction with Mother Earth, right? Because these plants are grown all over the world. It takes a mass quantity of essential oil to produce a very small amount, or mass quantity of plants, if you will, to produce a minute amount of the essential oil. And so this is paramount when we're considering what is going to be most effective for me to use the essential oil, whether it's for immunity, whether it's for hormonal balance, whether it is to modulate my emotional response to anxiousness or depressive tendencies. And how can I ensure that what I'm purchasing is a pure essential oil? Right. So these are all such an important part of the conversation before we even go in and say, well, this essential oil is good for that. So from that perspective, when you are searching out an essential oil to use with your in your home life for personal care for your family, you want to make sure that you have a relationship with your supplier. Because imagine this, there's only so much plants that are grown each year. And the demand for essential oils, especially after the past 2 years with COVID, continues to rise because there is greater recognition of the medicinal physiological benefits of using essential oils, as well as the psychospiritual, right? Modulating our stress response, building, strengthening our immunity, balancing not only hormones, but the many moods and emotional responses that we have from moment to moment in life, right now and ultimately always. So I always like to preface the conversation from that perspective, because it's an important seed to plant in our psyches, right? To really start to understand and be curious about the many gradations of quality essential oils that are out there, as well as purity, because there's only so much produced every year. Think about the point where the plant material is grown and distilled. If you don't have the relationship at those core levels, there are so many points in between from that moment to where it becomes a product, either at your local boutique, your health food store, or from your vendor or retailer. And the process of adulteration is an enormous multi-million, if not billion-dollar industry in its own regard. So that is a very important caveat to consider. Now, of course, when we think about supporting our immune response, right, essential oils that are immunostimulant, we think of aromatics like lemon. Lemon comes from the peel. The lemon oil comes from an expeller pressing of the peel. And so in particular, with any of the citrus oils, it's imperative to get an organic oil, because where does the pesticide go on all of our citrus fruits? It goes right onto the peel, right? And the peel is where the aromatic comes from. So again, when we start to look at people's experiences with essential oils, we have to very clearly qualify the level of purity that somebody is working with, to be able to understand what their experience is. So lemon essential oil is wonderful. I use it in all of my immune supportive formulas. In fact, I have a wonderful immune stimulating recipe DIY on my blog at AdoraWinquist.com for those of you that like to make your own medicine, because there is nothing more empowering than creating your own medicine for yourself and your family and being able to infuse it with your intention for wholeness, right, and for vibrancy. So lemon essential oil is always included in my immune formulas. Rosemary is also a wonderful essential oil to help stimulate our immune system, as well as tea tree. But I like to actually use niuli, which is a cousin of tea tree. So I use that more often than not for my immune formulas. I think that there is a bit of a greater potency in terms of the antibacterial and antiviral nature. Now, when we're considering aromatics from that antiviral and antibacterial, really potent medicine, of course, cinnamon, cassia, and clove are always go-to. So what I like to recommend to all of your listeners is to consider creating your own aromatic arsenal, right? A host of different aromatic allies that you can have in your home at your disposal to be able to create the medicines and the formulas that you need for yourself and your family and your loved ones. So, because medicine is something that we are always going to need on every level of our being, right? Think of from the moment that we wake up to the moment that we go to sleep, how many different experiences we have, how many different emotional responses we have. And this is where essential oils can have an immediate effect within not only mindset, but also the nervous system, because of the profound connection between the sense of smell and the brain, but specifically the amygdala and the limbic system, right? And so when we inhale the right essential oil or the right essential oils in the right formulation, we can not only shift how we feel in the moment, but with habitual use, we can learn how to shift the trajectory of our emotional response, right? Which is an incredibly empowering practice to be able to have at our fingertips. So I can't recommend that enough. And then in addition to that, if we're looking for hormonal balance, right? And we know as women, we are all searching for that at the different varying phases of our life. Geranium is one of my go-to essential oils. It was a go-to oil for me in my early 20s when I had endometriosis, and it suffered greatly with pain. I had a number of surgeries, and my doctor wanted to do a hysterectomy when I was 21. And I knew I was supposed to have 2 children. So I really went into a deeper study and practice of taking responsibility for my own healthcare and working with these aromatics and working with vibrational medicine and many other aspects of alternative medicine. So geranium was incredibly helpful to heal that process, because I did end up having 2 girls who are now 12 and 8 years old. And even now, at this stage in my life with menopause, it is a core aromatic that I work with. And from a psycho-spiritual perspective, it draws us into deeper cohesion with the inner wisdom that is held within us as women. So it is a profound aromatic to use from that holistic perspective. So a couple of other essential oils that I love to work with from a hormonal balancing perspective: cypress. Cypress is a wonderful oil. It's very fresh, very expansive, very uplifting. I don't know if you've come into contact with that before, but again, really helps to balance out, especially symptoms from PMS and or even scanty menstrual cycles. So the aromatics have a wealth of rich medicine and intelligence within them to share with us. And one of the things that I always recommend is to educate yourself, not only through books, right? Books are a wonderful way. I say that because I've also written one, working with plant and vibrational medicine, but more than that, to go out and purchase an essential oil. Start with maybe 3 small amounts of lavender from 3 different companies, and you will be amazed by the differences in quality from an aromatic perspective and also from a physiological response perspective. And so the more that you are working with the essential oils, the more that you're building this intimate relationship and your own lexicon of benefits, right? And then you can really craft your own unique medicine from the spirit perspective down to the physiological, or as I like to say, from your soul to your cells.
I think that's beautiful. You talked about the menopause in between. Maybe all the women out there, they go through all kind of symptoms like hot flashes, sweats and all and mood swings, right? So maybe you could help some of the women out there, simple 2-3 essential oils that they can use at night or during the day.
So my top 3 for hormonal balance are going to be geranium. The best quality is the bourbon rose geranium. And you can find much information on these essential oil profiles and other articles of how to blend your own products at home on my blog at AdoraWinquist.com. So geranium, clary sage. Clary sage has been known to lower cortisol levels. It has almost a hypnotic, deeply relaxing aromatic profile and response, and absolutely so helpful for the insomnia that comes with menopause, the hot flashes, the night sweats. Those can be so challenging, I know. So I would recommend geranium, clary sage, and also cypress. Those would probably be my top 3, although I have also found that for me, ylang ylang has been such an ally in menopause for me, because the mood swings, like getting so frustrated at times, right? And I'm sure some of your other listeners can relate to this, where this, anger or frustration seems to come from nowhere, right? As our hormonal levels, their peaks and valleys. Ylang ylang is an incredible aromatic of emotional release and deep feminine connection. It also has aphrodisiac properties. It's known as a hypotensive, right, to help us release and balance blood pressure. And it is a really beautiful floral, so it makes it a very nice anointing oil for the body as well. It's known as the queen of flowers. So I'm going to go with probably those 4 essential oils, but it's so difficult to choose because the plants have so much healing versatility to offer us through their medicine. And of course, as we are called to bring balance back to our beings, we're called back to nature, right? We're called to put down the phones and the devices, take off our shoes, go walk barefoot, let the sun beam down upon us, take in all of the beautiful visual and aromatic aspects of the plants, but to really remember that this rich plant kingdom has so much versatility to offer us, right? If we're looking to balance our mind or clear our thinking, right? Brain fog is something, a real thing that comes not only with menopause, but also adrenal fatigue, right? So a wonderful oil for this would be Tulsi, which is holy basil. And I fell in love with this oil on my first trip to India because it is an aromatic of devotion there, right? Used as offering in the temples. So Tulsi is incredible medicine, not just to clear brain fog. It's great for headaches. Blending it, I've had wonderful response even for migraines, but to help to strengthen and tone the adrenal system. And let's face it, I would say easily over 95% of us as adults are walking around with some degree of adrenal fatigue from the extreme levels of pressure and stress, again, both internally and externally.
Well, thank you so much. This is meant to be a quick 10 to 15-minute session, just helping to educate the public out there with efficacy of using holistic wellness, in this case, aromatherapy. There's so much more to discuss. We're just going to, like you said about the quality of the essential oil is so important. We at the end consumers don't understand what to buy, what not to buy. So that's like a completely different topic in itself. But you have any comments or feedback, you're welcome to say that.
Thank you. Yes, I think that knowing your supplier is paramount for not only the benefit, the efficacy, but also supporting this industry to create pure products, right? And to honor the beautiful plant medicine that comes from the earth, and to do so when we can purchase organic, when we can purchase wildcrafted, when we can purchase biodynamic, when we can know our farmers, our suppliers. I think that that is an incredible honoring of the plants. And there is a host of information on my blog on how you can go through specific practices to source pure essential oils, and then many formulas on how you can make them. So one of my passions is being able to educate in this field so others can be inspired, right, to go out and build their own relationships with the plants and the medicine.
Thank you so much. It's so informational and amazing information. I personally love essential oils. I was telling you earlier as well. Thank you so much. And to everyone, keep supporting us. We are launching our app and also a platform within this month. So stay tuned as we bring more holistic wellness affordable and accessible to everyone in the world. With that, namaste.
Namaste. Thank you, Amita.